Hi guys, happy Friday. It's Tara and Cassie, and we're back with another crypto market update. Okay, so here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and I just want to zoom out to the daily time frame just so you guys can see where we are on the macro scale. And so what I'm showing you here is from the bottom at 15,000 all the way up to the top at 73,000. And so from the bottom here, we're looking for a 5-wave structure for our new trend. And so that's looking something like this, with wave 1 coming up here, wave 2, 3, and we're currently in wave 4, and then we're expecting another 5th wave coming up here. And so I don't want to spend too much time on this view, but I do want to go through and show you a couple significant Fibonacci levels that you guys need to have on your chart and that you should be monitoring with us as we continue on in the market. And so the first thing that I want to point out to you is this wave 2 coming down here. And so during this time here, this was a really challenging time in the markets because during a wave 2, we usually expect it to come to lower Fibonacci levels. And so that's when we were expecting this 21,000 here at this 618. And so on this wave 2 coming down here, you can see it also formed a new low on the RSI. So we didn't get a major bullish divergence at this wave 2. This was unexpected to break out here because we didn't form the rest of this wave 2 coming down. And so now that we've moved on in the market, we now know this to be wave 2, and we're currently in wave 4. And so the first level that I think you guys need to add onto your charts is this extension level up here for wave 3, because Bitcoin is currently using that price level and it's sitting exactly there at around 66.7K. And so we're going to use the trend-based fib extension and start at the bottom at 15460, come up to the top of 1, and then include that retracement for wave 2. Let's put those coordinates in. And so the bottom was 15460, the top of wave 1 was 31862.21, and that bottom was 24900. Okay, and so this 2618 up here, this is that extension for wave 3. So this is going to be key resistance on Bitcoin, so make sure you guys have that on your chart. And so from the top here at 73,000, Cassie and I have been tracking this retracement coming down for wave 4. And so we've been tracking an ABC correction. However, with new development, it's very possible that Bitcoin is starting to triangle out. And so before Cassie goes through this wave 4 with you guys, I want to show you guys how to put these retracement levels on your charts, because these are our significant support levels right now. And so that's the fib retracement tool. We're going to use that top there at 73,000 and then come all the way down here to 25,000. And we're going to put the coordinates in. So that top there was 73835.57 and the bottom again was 24900. Okay, so you can see that on this retracement so far, we've already bounced off of that significant 236 support level at 62,000. And so this wave 4 typically targets either the 236 or the 382 level. And we can zoom into the subwaves to understand which level it's going to target. So we're going to have Cassie take you into the subwaves here and show you what we're expecting.
Okay, so I have Bitcoin on the 1 hour, and everything you see here on the screen is that 4th wave Tara's been talking about. So we've been tracking this ABC that has a 101 target at 58,000, high 58,000. So we're zoomed in even more, trying to track the subwaves of that to get even further confirmation. So now we're working on this C wave. And really the biggest difference between an ABCDE triangle and a typical ABC happens right in this C wave. So either this C wave is going to come down and still respect the bottom trend line of the triangle, forming our C of an ABCDE, or we break support here and it does form that true ABC. So this is something that we wanted to point out to you guys, that based on these subwaves getting cut so short, it does look like we could be forming a large triangle for our large degree 4th wave. So this would mean after this triangle is complete, we would continue on to make new highs. And like Tara did mention, it did already come to a significant level. So it doesn't really need to come down any further than it already has. What you can see here is we have somewhat of a 5-wave development coming down from our top resistance. And I'm just going to put in the extension for the 5th wave, which is this 618 here. And you can see this looks like it's going to be landing right at that support again. So let me show you how to get that quickly. One thing to note is that because Bitcoin pushed up so high yesterday, that is what's really bringing up our target. So because it came up so high and it's making, instead of making these nice strong waves for a C, it's really getting constricted, we're seeing. So that's just leading us to believe further that this is what's happening. So I'm gonna put in, like I said, the 5th wave extension for this C. Okay, so as I mentioned, the 618 extension for the 5th is landing very near this bottom support here. We could get a quick touch of a wick and even close back above in the triangle. So this is what we're going to be watching through the weekend. Support here at this local 618. So we'll watch this closely through the weekend, and we'll be back with another update later for that.
So just so you guys know, if this does still respect that bottom trend line and forms that wave C and continues to form the rest of the triangle, we still have 2 more waves left of the triangle. So Cass, maybe you can show that in the triangle so that they know that we're not done yet.
Okay, so it would still be A, would still be B, like we've been seeing, would still be C, like we're tracking now. Even if it comes down to touch this support again, it's still C because it hasn't made its way back up. So this is our C wave. Our D wave would come back up to touch, and then we'd have an E wave down here, which could fake out a little bit, but from there we would expect to see the new high. So this is in general how an ABCDE would look like that. So we are in the C wave, and we need confirmation that either it's going to respect this for an ABCDE or break down for our true ABC. Okay, so let's head over to Ethereum. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum, and again on the daily time frame. I'm zoomed out, but I don't want to go into too much detail with you guys during this video. The one thing that I want to point out is that Ethereum also came up and it targeted perfectly its 2.618 extension. This is also wave 3 on Ethereum, and you can see that it formed a new high on the RSI. So this perfectly targeted that 2618 at 4071, and we're tracking an ABC correction on Ethereum for wave 4. And so now Ethereum doesn't look like it's forming the triangle like Bitcoin is. This is looking like a textbook ABC correction. And so we're going to zoom in, and Cassie's going to show you that ABC for this wave 4 and show you what we can expect for the rest of this retracement. Okay, so I have Ethereum 1 hour. I'm really zoomed in here. As we zoom in on the subwaves, they are a little bit constricted like Bitcoin, but I think we're just going to get some kind of extension here and really hit our true target of that 2600 for C. If I zoom in here, there's one thing I want to point out. So yesterday we were looking at this ABC, and we are trying to get the target for C. We were targeting this 1 because it was landing near the 0.5. And I just want to point out how nicely it's respected both the C target. So look at the closes on the candle. This is our C target, and this is that larger 0.5 retrace that we also talked about, and it had a quick wick to that price. So I wanted to show how this really gave us confirmation that this was an ABC and not actually the start of a new trend, which would be the other scenario. So as you can see, we are starting now to break down to new lows. So let me show you how to get the 5th wave extension for this C wave. So again, it's the trend-based fib extension. I'm just going to take the high of B, and we're taking the low, which would be the 3rd wave of C. And we're coming all the way up to that 4th wave of C. The 618 here, 3161, that's going to be significant support. What we want to see is the price make a new low, but this RSI kind of hold this bullish divergence it's trying to make. So we want the price to come down lower, but not low enough that it makes a new extreme on the RSI. So that will help to confirm that it's done. But like I said, we still have those lower targets down at 2600. That could be our bottom. So just to make clear, we're not saying that you guys should be either selling here or definitely not shorting. Because right now, as I just showed you on the higher time frames, this is wave 4. So any retracement that we do make here is a buying opportunity. We're tracking this retracement so that you guys can have these buy levels ready so that you can prepare for that final 5th wave coming up here on the higher time frames. So again, we don't want you guys to think that we're saying to sell here or short. We just want you to be prepared with the buys. Yeah, and thank you for bringing up trading, because really for trading, I'm looking for it to make that new low and come to some of these significant targets and make our bullish diversions. So for trading, what we would want to do is just start from the top of B and start to pull this down as it makes its low. but really I'm eyeing these levels here. Once it gets down to here, I think we could get a nice long trade, even though Ethereum and Bitcoin are pretty low in their spread. On other altcoins, it'll be a lot higher. Like I think some are now even at 7 or 8% right now, but this is a really good trade on Ethereum. So 4%, once we get down to the bottom here, we'll have a nice 4% long that if you're looking to trade, we can get into that later. So what I'm looking for is a new price low, targets being met, and then RSI confirmation before the trading setup can be ignited.
Okay, so let's get over to XRP.
Okay, so here we are on XRP, zoomed in to the 1 hour. We are very near the end of this triangle, you guys. So this triangle has been forming for over 6 years. It's ending in less than a month. So we are still expecting this bottom support touch. One thing I do want to point out is even with that bullish news that we had yesterday on the stable coin, it could not hold that resistance level. So it came up perfectly, touched this resistance level at 6155 and then had pretty strong resistance from there. So that larger news should not be stopping our plan. I still think we're coming down to this bottom support here. 52 to 54 cents is that clean support touch, but we do need to expect any fake out just in case. But in general, we are sitting at a major 6.5 and 6.18 retrace level. So right in these levels, it could be just short-term support or some short-term price action here until we get that final breakdown to support. So, and you can see on the RSI, we do have some room to support. So this could be just a quick touch. Yeah, so we're just through the weekend. Let's just look to see how it reacts to these support levels it's at right now. And then if we do get that clean break down to our next support level is what I'm looking for.
Let me get over to my XRP chart. Okay, so there's not really much else to add other than what Casi has mentioned, but I do want to show you guys that even though we had this pump up here, you can see the majority of the resistance and the bulk of the candles still stayed under that 382 and 236 resistance, like I showed you guys how to put on your chart. And so I used these resistance levels to get my 618 extension at 538. And so I also showed you guys how to put this extension level on your charts. And so this is going to continue to be our target for when this starts to break down. And this is also in line with Casi's target at around 54 cents. So like Casi mentioned, we're going to be monitoring this throughout the weekend and try to track a 5-wave structure coming down to these bottom levels down here. Okay guys, so I really hope you enjoyed this video, how we started on the higher timeframes and then zoomed into the lower timeframes and gave you a few things to watch out for as we head into the weekend. And so this is what we're going to be tracking throughout the weekend, and we'll be back on Monday with another update for you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.